Good afternoon, everybody. Let me begin by going back to the year 2011 when we began this journey about trying to figure out how do we address the needs for skills in a statewide initiative that involved the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, in this opportunity that we came across, we had to look at what were the possibilities and what were the aspirations that young people had, and how do we ensure that we gave them what they really required in terms of the skills, keeping in mind the kind of interest that they had. So that actually was I would say, the seed or the starting point for what we are trying to do today with NES. And in this particular case, there were students from various parts of the state who were brought together to the university. And while the students were available in Kashmir, the assessors and the counselors were all in the city of Pune. So what really happened was, the starting point was for them to go through this assessment, which was both, you can say, written or it was on the computers. And at the same time, we needed to test their communication skills. So we used the virtual communication methods available at that point of time, and the studios in the University of Kashmir. And that's how, for every candidate, what were the skills, where they were in terms of their interests, and what is it that the skill score actually meant eventually in terms of what kind of possibilities that existed for that individual came about. So this is a case study of this girl, Sabiha Sheikh. And while she began by assuming that she was ready for a particular role, based on the analysis that was carried out, it came about that her top skills were communication skills, her ability to pay attention to details, and analytical skills, based on which the right kind of opportunity was presented to her. So the takeaway for us from this case study and several other initiatives that we have done over the years is the fact that if we really want to bring about true transformation with any individual and put the candidate on the right path of skill development and career opportunity, it is very important to map the aspirations to the possibilities, and at the same time look at how technology could make a significant difference. And that is really that was really the inspiration for Milestone, which is what we are trying to implement in various initiatives through NES. So today we have a number of skill development initiatives happening around the country. A lot of them are struggling to scale, and there are several challenges. Many of the speakers before have highlighted those challenges. But the single most challenge in our view is the fact that the inability to scale is not just because of lack of funds, it's also because individuals who come into these skill development centers, they are not really motivated to either undergo the program, or as the last speaker said, after undergoing the program, why do they want to stay on with the program? So what we are trying to do through Milestone initiative is to look at addressing this mapping of the aspirations with the capabilities and the opportunities through this foundation program. And this is where we work with, we work around how do we get them out of the various challenges that they might have faced from their childhood. And particularly when we have implemented this through Lighthouse project in Pune, where 18 to 24-year-olds come in from the communities, in the urban communities. And there are several issues which are never discussed at home, several assumptions that we make even before they come into the center, that this student is ready to go through this particular program or that particular program, without really recognizing how we could really bring about the transformation. So the idea is to take them through that foundation program, to get them out of all those concerns and issues, to get them to talk about it and get them to feel comfortable to do the program, to participate in the program in the first place, and thereafter provide them with multiple choices. And then we work with organizations like Prava, who would really be involved in enabling them to think beyond skills, thinking about what they really want to achieve in their life. And that is how we believe this program can be successful. So in the case study that we have here in front of you, In the case of Lighthouse in Pune, there are a number of courses currently being offered, like nursing assistants, air conditioner technician, and so on. But at every stage of the interaction with the candidate, we try to see how we can create an ambience which is vastly different from the typical ambience or environment that they grew up, either in their homes or in their communities, or for that matter, even in the school and the college. So I remember the days way back in the 80s when we were growing up, most of middle-class Indians could experience air conditioning only in theaters or maybe in some computer training centers. So while today the situation has changed dramatically for many of us, for most people in the urban slums or rural communities, that is still something to look forward to. And therefore, how do we really make the training room pleasant, comfortable, and provide them with technologies which they can't otherwise experience and bring them into their learning process? So we have introduced augmented reality, what you see here, for instance. This is a typical air conditioner training program where the candidate comes in, and what you can see here is able to, without really having necessarily an air conditioner in front of him, through this kind of an what we call augmented reality process, is able to visualize how will this air conditioner open up, what are the various components, where which part comes in, and if there is a problem, what are the kind of mechanisms that we need to address. All of these are explained with the help of this AR, which enables the individual to visualize even before I decide to take on this sort of a profession, is this something that I'm going to be excited about? Similarly, in the case of nursing assistant, we have used a technology called virtual reality. And here, an aspiring nursing assistant, for that matter, anybody who walks into the center, is able to put on this specific glass that is, in fact, this afternoon, some of you are interested, can experience this, and Abhishek is setting up this outside. So you can put on this glass, and you would be able to actually walk through a hospital, and the candidate is able to then understand what it is to be in the operating theater, or what does it involve when I have to bandage a wounded person, and so on and so forth. So the idea here is, in addition to matching their aspirations, also giving them a visualization of what it is likely to be when you're actually working in that sort of an environment. This is how we feel that by bringing in technology in way the program is going to be delivered, the entire ambience is going to be created, we can really make a difference. And this is what we're experiencing at the Lighthouse in Pune. So in terms of scaling this and taking this across to other parts of the country, our model envisages that we would like to work with partners who can bring in unique programs like the ones that a few of those I shared with you. There are many other unique programs, many of the skills providers may be offering. So how do we infuse technology into those? Also work with corporates who have specific programs, and with those programs, how could we bring in technology at every stage, right from counseling to actually mapping their interest to delivering the program and assessment and so on. And in terms of the partners who would like to be part of this initiative, NES Milestone will provide the know-how, will provide the hand-holding, and will bring together those who have other capabilities that could be provided to them in terms of the livelihood opportunities relevant for them locally. We are looking at, over the next 5 years, to impact at least about 100,000 young people, and that is a mission that we are on to in terms of looking at how a combination of matching aspirations and infusing technology, through this combination of these, we can make a difference. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions? Any questions, comments?
Yes, please.
Can you get a mic at the back?
Thank you. That was excellent. Can you do something for teacher training as well, using virtual reality?
Certainly, I think that's a great idea, and would be happy to look at that as an area to look at.
Can you develop specific, skill-related material for AR, VR for a partner? Can you do that as a service
The question was that if there is a partner with a specific area of interest, I presume it's a skill, can the VR, AR curriculum be developed specifically for that? And I think it links to the earlier question saying for teachers, can we imagine situations where virtual reality can be used? Uma?
Yeah, certainly. As I said earlier, anybody who has a specific program which has been working well and is interested in scaling that, we would be happy to partner with them and see how technologies like AR and VR, and there are several exciting technologies that are available today. Our idea is we want to make this what we think is very uncommon and very much restricted to the corporate world or to elite few. How do we bring in those technologies to a common place and make it available and accessible to everybody, to the common man? That is really the mission for NES Milestone.